We are spending the day in Scottsdale, Arizona. This is a suburb of Phoenix, but this historic city has a life of its own. From the shops in Old Town with their Old West vibes, to the amazing restaurants that the city is known for, including a traditional English joint serving up Cornish pasties. We are on a mission to find the most interesting and unique things to do here in Scottsdale. So let's get started. We're starting our morning off with some breakfast at a place called the Breakfast Club. This place has been described as an elevated breakfast restaurant, known for their twists on classic breakfast dishes. They're starting the day off right, playing some Dolly Parton, so I'm already a fan. One of the things that's really neat about Scottsdale is that there are a lot of pet-friendly restaurants here. And a lot of restaurants in general. When I was looking at Bring Fido last night, there had to have been at least 50 just in Scottsdale. That's amazing, because normally we go, there's like maybe 5 or 10 at any city that we visit. But I picked out this place because I just saw a picture of a breakfast sandwich and I said, I have to have that. Plus it has a cool name, the Breakfast Club. You gotta love that, right? Today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
As video game enthusiasts, Raid is pretty cool. They have global PvP so you can play with people all over the world, and when you're playing by yourself, there's some crazy big boss battles you can take part in.
Raid has over 600 playable champions and some pretty wild bosses. One of those bad boys is Minotaur. He is more than just a beefed up dude with a bull for a head. I mean, just look at him. He is intense.
He may be big, but you got this. He's got simple mechanics, throwing hexes at your champions to do extra damage, but he takes extra damage on the third turn, so you can save up those good attacks for then.
And you can use some powerful buffs to show him who's boss. You don't even have to be strategic about it. My classic definition of video game style is just button mashing. He might look tough, but I just toaster caked him even on stage 15.
And this month, Raid's got a non-stop schedule of special events and activities, including Forge Pass Season 3. Which has some amazing rewards to offer, including a limited edition artifact set.
If that's not enough, Raid's bringing out some new champions, along with some awesome looking champion skins for the incredible Madame Ceres.
But wait, here's the big news. Later this month, Raid is giving everybody's favorite champion the upgrade he deserves. You might have seen his struggle for awesomeness in some of Raid's hilarious videos, and finally Death Knight is becoming a legendary champion. It's something we've all been waiting for, and I can't wait to see how Ultimate Death Knight turns out.
This is the best time to get started with Raid. If you click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen, you'll get unique bonuses worth $30. We're talking a free epic champion Ina, 200k silver, 1 energy refill, and 1 XP boost and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in game.
All this treasure will be waiting for you here.
Carly's intently staring at the door that the food is coming out of.
I got the biscuits and gravy that are on a cheddar jalapeno biscuit, and it's pretty good.
I got the breakfast grilled cheese, which has bacon, hash browns, an egg, and cheese on it, and it comes on challah bread, and it looks as amazing as it did in the photos, so I'm excited to try it. Challah bread makes everything better, and that bacon is just like so nice and thick and crispy. Yeah, it's really nice. I love it a lot. That cheddar jalapeno biscuit in Jerry's Biscuits and Gravy is phenomenal. It's so cheesy and has a little bit of spice. It's just a really good biscuit. The gravy for me is like a little bit too much flavor happenings with that because it's got fennel and sage in it. But overall, I think it's good, and those potatoes o'brien are really good too. But I think I went with the right choice. Like, that sandwich was worth it. I'm glad I sought it out from a picture, and that, yeah, it was a success.
And now that we've had a little bit of breakfast, it's time to go walk around Old Town and check that out.
I wasn't really sure what to expect with Scottsdale because I came here as a teenager, but I just remember kind of the shopping, and I know it's supposed to be pretty bougie. It's like a fancy area for spas. There's a lot of golfing here. But actually walking around town, this town has some really cool stuff. Like we just passed a really cool looking tiki bar. There's a sushi place that has karaoke that has really cool vibes. We are here pretty early in the morning because it's going to get up to 110 degrees today. So we just wanted to kind of be on the cooler side, especially being here with a dog. I think just walking around the town, like this area has really nice vibes to it. I like it. I wonder what time this place opens because I want everything in here. There's some interesting stuff. Oh, look at this cowboy boot salt and pepper shaker holder. Yep, need that. This fountain is probably the most iconic thing in Scottsdale, and it's the main thing that I remember from being here as a kid. But it's really neat because it's got 5 Arabian horses on it, and Scottsdale is known for being kind of an Arabian horse town. They've been breeding horses here. It's been like a big place to breed Arabian horses since the 50s, and every February there's a big Arabian horse show here, which that is why I was here as a kid. I feel like it's appropriate that I should like Scottsdale because my family has been raising Arabian horses for a long time, and it's like in my blood to be a horse person into this stuff, so yeah, it works out.
There's a real eclectic mix of shops here, though there does seem to be a lot of fancy clothing and jewelry stores, but there's everything from wine tasting to stores with weird little tchotchkes and stuff.
Have you guys been to the mall and seen those little like animals you can ride around in the mall? Well, here in Scottsdale, they have a 90-minute guided tour on what seems like beefier versions of those. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I guess you learn about the sites and some of the history, so I definitely need to come and do that sometime. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna be doing this today, but I definitely, I've got laser vision on it for next time. If you want to book it, it is called Rideable Tours by Cactus Jock. It seems like a fun time, so check it out. You aren't the only one trying to escape the heat. Hey! We've made it to the proper historic old town, and it has such a fun Old West vibe. And there's some really cool shops here. There's like a little honey and bee shop. There's all kinds of gift shops and specialty stores. Plus, whatever this is behind me that has a horse on it, I already love it. Native American gifts. Bumblebee, actual honey.
Kylo Ren. You know, Arizona stuff.
A pile of cow skulls, you know, just typical things you would expect. I love it. This is the cutest boutique I've seen so far.
It's the West's most western town.
I mean, if there's a park bench that says so, then you know it's true.
The first mayor said it, come on. I mean, what's more western than Buca de Beppo? But to its credit, it's a very western looking Buca de Beppo.
Fair.
Had to get my picture with the Old Town Scottsdale cowboy sign.
Heck yeah! We just stopped at this place called Native Artisan Market. Not only is it a Native American owned and operated, but they have over 30 different Native American tribes that vend their different goods there. All kinds of art, t-shirts, like a lot of Star Wars stuff. It's just a really cool place, and the fact that it's all going back to the local tribes that created it makes this a really good place to stop if you're looking for those Native American souvenirs while you're here. I'm very excited. Not only did I get some beautiful opal earrings, but I am going to try some healing red medicine tea that comes from a local tribe here in the Scottsdale area, so that's pretty neat. They've got a giant cowboy boot. Scottsdale just became my favorite. Old Adobe Mission is the oldest standing church in Scottsdale. According to the website, the church was hand-built by the Mexicans who settled here in the 1910s. It may not be the biggest church, but it is a cute, adorable church, and the inside is beautiful. highly recommend checking it out.
Among the specialty stores here, there's a lot of baseball stores, and that's because about 7 or 8 of the Major League Baseball teams all do their spring training in Scottsdale and the surrounding area. So that's kind of interesting.
We were just debating whether or not we should get some, 10:30 a.m. gelato, but I think, as nice as that sounds, that we have another treat in mind. Now, I feel a little bit guilty that we're not gonna be having Mexican food today. However, as soon as I saw that there is a Cornish Pasty Co. here in Scottsdale, and we just got back from England and tried a real Cornish pasty in Cornwall, I just knew we had to come here. It's pretty low key here today, but we're also here on a weekday in the off season. However, I was reading that their original location in Tempe has a cult-like following and that the locals love it. I think the same is true here based on the conversation that we just had with the server.
This place has multiple locations in Arizona and even one in Vegas now. And the person that started it is from the UK and also went to culinary school there. So we're probably in for some tasty pasties.
Ooh, I like what you did there.
Pasties, I kind of pronounced it wrong to make it rhyme.
They cut their Cornish pasties in half here, but originally they are a hand pie. And we had the pleasure of having them in Cornwall, and they were wonderful. These look wonderful. We got the traditional one, which is the steak, rutabaga or swede, potato and onion. And then we also went with they had all kinds of weird and, I don't want to say weird, but unusual and definitely not ones you would say in England. So we decided to opt for one of those more interesting ones. This is a Cajun chicken pasty. And our server told us that this has a cult-like following, so I'm excited to try them.
It has a chipotle sauce that comes with it.
It has
chicken, ham, bacon, Swiss cheese, and
Cajun,
like Cajun spices.
Cajun spices, yeah.
Oh, it's like the potatoes and the swede and stuff are sliced really thin. Huh, smells good. It's really nice. It reminds me of being in Cornwall. I miss the UK already.
I don't know if this is a thing, but it smells like British food. Like, it just smells like, reminds me of England, and I miss it already. I think that's what Jeremy just said. I love how soft and like flavorful the potatoes are. They've soaked up the juice of the meat, and that crust is just such a nice, flaky, delightful crust. This is quite a good pasty, and I think just as good as the one that we had in Cornwall itself. So there's that.
This smells really good. It smells different, obviously, with the Cajun spices, but it also smells really good. Guess we'll just go all in and try the chipotle sauce with it.
Oh, some cheese pull you got there.
Alright, that is not a traditional pasty, but that is still delicious, and I totally understand why that has a cult following. Those Cajun spices with the aioli and that really good flaky crust again. Yeah, that's great.
Those pasties were amazing, and I loved the Cajun one. I just love that they have these like fun different flavors. It's like a new twist on a traditional English food. So definitely recommend. Kind of random that we happened upon this place, but definitely worth checking out if you're in the area. Okay, we have one more stop, and I think it's kind of an important one. We gotta go to a brewery, right? When the brewery that you're planning to go to has a fire outside of it almost immediately after you go to walk in, then you find a different brewery. Props to the fire department for getting there in like 30 seconds though. But now we are at Fate Brewing, as fate would have it.
Fate Brewing Co. has been open for about 10 years. They opened in 2012 in northern Scottsdale, and 3 years later they just kind of outgrew that space and added this second location that we're at here.
Several of their beers have won awards, and I can see why, because just looking at the menu, every single beer sounds interesting and a little unusual. They have a prickly pear hard seltzer. They have a Hefeweizen that has notes of banana. But I decided to go with one of the award-winning ones, and that is a Hatch Chili Gatos. This golden ale won the gold medal at the 2018 World Beer Cup. Oh, I can see why. It's really nice. I was expecting it to be a little spicier because of the Hatch chilies, but it's just got a tiny bit of heat on the back end, but a really nice flavor.
I got a blueberry lemonade sour that it says was brewed with 1,000 pounds of blueberry puree and local lemons, so we'll see. It's a really pretty color.
Oh, cheers. You want cheers?
Ooh, that's good.
And how you doing today, princess? Big stretch for a big girl. They brought out the little guy. What's the alcohol content in that one?
14%.
Ooh.
It's a barrel-aged honey nut barley wine. I'm not sure how refreshing it's gonna be at 100 degrees, but I wanted to try it. All right, it's not refreshing necessarily, but it does taste really good. It's sweet and has that peanut flavor and kind of a caramelly whiskey aftertaste. It's quite nice.
Did you say this is a bourbon barrel aged?
Yeah.
It smells like it, but it also has like a nice nutty smell to it. It's weird because it has that like that whiskey flavor, but then there's also that like nutty sweetness to it that it's just kind of a weird combination for me, but also I kind of knew I wasn't gonna like it. I'll stick to my Hatch chili. That is actually, like, the more I drink, the more it's kind of burny on the back end, but it's really good. Feet Brewing Co., very enjoyable, as well as the rest of our day. I wish we would have done a little bit more activities-wise. There are some cool-looking hikes in the area and things like that, but unfortunately, now we know why the summer is the off-season. It is very hot, and nobody wants to be outside right now. So, thanks so much for coming along with us. We will see you soon. We're heading further into Arizona and New Mexico and Texas, so we got plenty more to see and do here in the South.